With the rise of Gen AI being used in creative spaces, it has kind of been left up to us, the readers and the creators, the authors, the artists, etc., to kind of make sure that we aren't accidentally supporting people who are using Gen AI in creative spaces. Generally, most organizations, I think, largely agree, at least spaces run by other creatives. And most events in these spaces, again, are putting in the effort to try and weed out this material from their events. Unfortunately, an author in New Mexico was met with an unpleasant surprise when an event that she has purchased tickets to attend as an author didn't actually want to do anything about it. Let's talk about it. So my name is Taylor Rose, and welcome back to my channel where we talk about everything reading and writing. I lived in New Mexico for 4 years, and it was not great. Unfortunately, I lived in a really rural area, but it just felt like anytime something interesting popped up, it was nowhere near me. For example, I wanted to pre-order Under the Oak Tree when it first came out as a hard copy because I collect pin badges. And those first 2 editions of both the comic and the translated novel came with special pin badges. So, duh, I wanted it. And you were meant to pre-order from a list of specific stores. Someone very kindly made a Google map, which I opened, thrilled, so excited, ready to find the nearest bookstore, disheartened to see that the closest bookstore was 10 hours away. Yeah, very disappointing. But luckily, good old Book People in Austin, Texas does do shipping. So I was able to get my special pin badges, even though the first few bookstores I looked at did not offer that at all, which was very disheartening. But because of that experience, I do really feel for this poster. We have Ashtyn Kiana, author, on Threads, talking about her unfortunate experience with a book event. So her first post read, "Unfortunately, I'm here to announce I will no longer be attending Books in Santa Fe hosted by Book Bliss events. If you're from New Mexico, you understand how sad this makes me. We're often skipped over for events, concerts, all of that. So when there was an opportunity to participate in something local, I jumped at the chance. This decision came after learning one of the vendors uses AI, and I inquired about the event stance on AI. Now the owner is accusing me of slander, which isn't true." I totally get it. She was probably so thrilled that there was something actually worthwhile to attend locally, and then this happened. Ashtyn continued, "So this is how I found out one of the vendors uses AI and that Book Bliss Events is allowing it. I was doom scrolling on TikTok yesterday morning when I came across a mobile bookshop in town, and I went to their page. I was already following them, so I scrolled down to find AI art, flyers/graphics, as well as AI videos of SJM men, and a shop listing selling AI art as a pin. So I unfollowed and immediately emailed the organizer. I asked Michelle what her stance on AI was. She said she didn't understand what I meant, but she does not use AI, and the authors attending the event do not either. I stated that I am anti-AI and saw one of their vendors uses it on the TikTok/Instagram/website. Her response was that she doesn't agree with the use of AI in regards to authors, and that she made a statement to authors that it was not allowed at the event. I did not receive this, and I still have not been shown any proof." So presumably, if the authors were told that they're not allowed to use Gen AI, an attending author would have also received that. I don't blame Ashtyn for being suspicious in this case. Ashtyn continued, "I asked to see where that policy was stated and brought up the vendor again. She didn't show me, but asked me not to drop the event over one vendor and to let her handle it. Cool. She came back to say the vendor won't use AI at the event, but would still be attending. The vendor agreed to take down the one post. I came back with proof of at least 5 different posts from one quick scroll, and that I will be pulling out of the event. Her response was that she's sorry to hear that, but she can't control what others do. I mean, you can't control what others do, but if you have a standard for your event, you can control whether or not they attend your event. Just like I can't stop people from smoking, but I can stop them from smoking in my house or my car because it's my property. Not that an event is necessarily property, but it is being owned by an organization or a person. I said for the credibility of her event and for the protection of the authors, she should have policies and procedures in place. She reiterated that she wishes me the best and can't control others' actions. What a cop-out. I didn't reply and posted to my threads about losing the deposit for an event due to AI usage by a vendor. One author messaged me to ask if it was this event because they are supposed to attend one of the other locations. I told her it was. I considered whether to post about it, even after another friend encouraged me to do so. I'm not as confrontational as I used to be, and honestly, I just want to write and sell my books. But then I woke up to a DM from the organizer this morning. So far she hasn't said anything publicly naming the organization, and yet they are running out here to preemptively attack her? I don't know. She asked me to please refrain from bashing their event, said their stance on AI was clear, they cannot control what vendors do, and slandering their event won't be tolerated. As I told her, it's only slander if it isn't true. I'm not accusing Books Bliss events of using AI. However, I did bring proof that one of their vendors uses AI, and they are not doing anything about it. That is what I'm upset about. I pointed out that plenty of events have strong policies and procedures for this. And as the organizer, it is her event. She can choose to support authors or turn a blind eye. She said again that she can't control what others do. Girl, we get it. But you can control your event. Then went on to say that many events use AI to market. That's not true, but she doesn't and the authors don't. But vendors are still, people that you're choosing to let in. You can't be the CEO of a company and then be like, oh, but I have no control over what the custodians do. The custodians are also part of your company. And if they're not cleaning correctly, or they're not showing up to work, or they are doing a great job, but oh no, someone in accounting has allergies to that specific floor cleaner, you still have to do it. You can't just tell that employee, sucks to be you. I can't tell the custodians what floor cleaner to use. She tried to turn it on me by saying we need to support the local and indie bookshops / businesses and stop the witch hunts. I totally agree, and I believe artists deserve to be respected and protected. I let her know it's BS to say that when the book community, especially the romance community, shows up for others time and time again. Is it a perfect space? No, of course not. But there's truly so much good here. There are thousands of authors, readers, artists, service providers, content creators, bookstores, events, and more who do not use AI in any capacity. I hate arguments like that. And I feel like we hear it all the time. Like, oh, no, we should be uplifting other female authors. Well, if she did something bad, sorry. Like, I don't think your identity or your stance on one thing thereby negates any potential future conflict you have on other stances or your general activities, And I feel like that's something in true crime a lot. Like, he was such a nice boy. And well, unfortunately, as an adult, he's a serial killer and should go to jail. I'm glad he was a nice kid, apparently. Okay. So Ashtyn continued. Then I asked for the second time to see where their AI policy was posted and where I could find it. It's not on their Facebook page, in their emails, on the application, on the website, on the ticket page for the event. She told me the conversation was over and that slander would not be tolerated. I reiterated that it is not slander if it's true. Here we are. I will add that she did leave one post in the Facebook group yesterday, before I left, that asked authors to refrain from using AI-generated posts to market the event because, even though she isn't trying to tell anyone what they can or can't do, her name is now on the line. Should have been the first thing you think of. I don't know. As far as I can find, this is the only statement regarding AI that has been made. I have screenshots of all our emails, DMs, and proof from the vendor's public pages. Please note, I take full responsibility for letting my excitement about a local event cause me to overlook anything about AI in the application process, and that is partly why I consider not saying anything. I'm not asking for a refund or anything like that, just that I want other authors to be warned. And I mean, this is a good warning that we need to be doing our due diligence. It might feel easy or commonplace, like everyone in the book community thinks similarly in terms of GenAI, and that the people who don't are outliers, but unfortunately, that's not true. Frequently, I'll talk with people in the real world and be shocked, like, oh, you haven't heard of this, or you don't know why XYZ is bad, etc. But I also feel like maybe that's kind of a self-centered thought process in that, like, for example, I am vegetarian and have been for many, many years. So pretty much anytime food comes up, I have to defend myself against other people. So it's like, yeah, sometimes something I think is like, no duh, isn't actually common knowledge. That's okay. We live and we learn. I certainly wouldn't have thought I would need to do this either. And I mean, I admire Ashtyn for coming out and being able to speak her truth. I think that, and none of this post either was very aggressive or anything too. You know, she has stated pretty calmly what has gone down. Ashtyn did make a follow-up comment on this first thread and said, so I had kept the bookish shop's name out of my original post, but they've also posted about their AI use. Here are the screenshots I sent to BBE and the shop listing of an acrylic pen featuring an AI image of a fourth wing character. I did not include the pen in my emails. I don't think there's really anything else to say. And she has attached images posted by Intentionally Spicy Albuquerque, ABQ, posts that definitely look to be made with AI, and they have tagged them here with contains AI generated material. So generic muscular man with tattoos, a flyer. You've probably seen a lot of this kind of design recently. Apparently, AI generated flyers are popping up everywhere. But again, they did tag AI generated media. Another muscular dude. Looking at the tattoos, I think it's supposed to be the same guy, but his hair's totally different. So that's fine. And a guy on a horse. AI generated, another flyer, and then this, as someone who collects pen, I don't think that's very graphically pleasing, but okay. So this was all the evidence that she did supply the event organizer. The next-ish day, Ashtyn had to come back because now she is receiving cease and desist letters from Michelle, the organizer of the event. Ashtyn's post says, Michelle has now emailed me a cease and desist, so here are all of our messages from yesterday when I first noticed the AI use up to tonight. I really feel as if this speaks for itself. And just to reiterate, I'm not accusing Michelle or Books Bliss Events of using AI. They have accepted a vendor who uses and sells AI images and chose to keep them as a vendor after it was pointed out to them, then accused me of slander for speaking out. Also, my name is Ashtyn Kiana, not Kiana Ashtyn. I feel you, girl. My last name is also a first name. So people call me by my last name all the time. And then I awkwardly have to be like, actually, my first name's Taylor. It drives me crazy, but I have also kind of given up and I'll just respond to my last name, I guess. So we can see that Ashtyn first sent a message to Michelle saying, hi, Michelle, I was wondering what the company's stance on AI is. I haven't seen anything listed anywhere in regards to that. And Michelle's response was, good morning. What do you mean by stance? We don't use AI to create our graphics, and we understand the attending authors don't either. This is a touchy subject, I understand. What is your stance on AI? Interesting. I mean, if she is willing to let a vendor using GenAI still attend her event, why does it matter what anyone's stance is? Ashtyn responded, I do not use AI, nor do I condone it. However, it appears that one of the vendors attending uses AI in their marketing a lot. Typically, from what I have seen and attended, events will have information regarding their stance on AI, and if they do not allow vendors and authors to participate if they use it in their work. Michelle's response was, my personal stance is I don't agree with the use of AI for authors. I made a statement to our authors to not use AI in relation to our event. But authors aren't the only people at your event. And I don't personally understand this desire to separate authors from artists. A lot of people do that. And I get it. Art is hard. Art takes a lot of work, a lot of practice to make good art. But I don't know. So does writing a good story. So I don't see how you can say one is an art form that deserves to be protected and created by human hands, while the other, we'll just let ChatGPT do it. I don't think that's fair. Ashtyn responded, where was this statement posted? Does this apply to vendors as well? I am sorry to be pushy. However, I'm not comfortable being part of an event that includes/promotes AI use in any way. Intentionally Spicy Shop uses AI all over their social media accounts, AI art for flyers, and posting AI videos of book characters, specifically from SJM books. Their website has acrylic pins with AI fan art and book covers, which cannot be used without licensing. Another issue. Like, I'm sure the event wouldn't get in trouble, but I certainly wouldn't want to include vendors who are sidestepping the legal requirements for selling fan art, you know? Michelle answered, I totally understand your stance. Please let me reach out again to them. Don't back out of the event because of what someone else has done. I don't know. And I guess there's nuance. It does depend on what the person's done. But in this world where authors are making such strong stands against generative AI, it would not be smart to stay at an event is willfully promoting it. And I guess the caveat to that is, of course, if you are financially able to separate yourself from that price that you're losing, you know, unless you absolutely can't, I think most people would think that it is like the ethically consistent thing to step away and make your stance clear, or make your stance clear, but outline why, unfortunately, you can't do XYZ. Ashtyn said, okay, I appreciate you hearing my concerns. I will wait for an update. And about 30 minutes later, Michelle updated her. I asked the vendor to remove anything AI generated from the event. They agreed. She stated it was only one post, but it clearly wasn't. But I made it clear AI isn't to be connected with the event. And this is where Ashtyn includes the screenshots. She says, this is everything I found from one quick scroll. It is much more than just one post. It is not hidden, nor is it easy to miss. I would like to be removed from the event, please. Yeah, I asked a question, she got an answer, and she's more than right to step away because she did not like that answer. Michelle says, I'm sorry to hear that. I can't control what others do. I wish you the best. Continues, for the credibility of your event and the protection of your authors, you should have policies and procedures set in place. And Michelle just says, again, I wish you the best. I can't control what everyone does, but you can at your event. Your name will be removed this afternoon. So according to Ashtyn's post, she received these before she even made the post. She made the anonymous, nameless post saying she was going to be losing money, sad face, but she didn't name why. And then before she came out and said why, Book Bliss Events, so the organizer for the event, came forward and sent her this message on Instagram. Please refrain from bashing our event. Our stance against AI was clear, but ultimately we can't control what vendors do on their own platforms. I mean, which is true. I just think this is weird though. Like it would be like it's clear from the post that Ashtyn shared that that one shop is selling AI generated material, which is what they would be doing if they attended your event. Like, I guess it would be one thing if there's an author who made an AI generated video, but their book cover isn't. Their book wasn't supposedly made with GenAI. Like that feels different. Or maybe an author reposting something hateful or derogatory, but like an AI generated video, they reposted it or something. That's the stance. Those situations would fit this stance, I think. Not a shop that is very obviously making money and intending to make money using GenAI at your event. Like, what are they going to do? Not bring any of their merch? Ashtyn responded, it is only slander if it's untrue. I asked to see where your AI policy is stated. My question was ignored. There are plenty of events who respect their authors and artists by removing vendors from their event. I brought you proof of AI use, and your words were, I cannot control what others do. You are the event organizer. You choose who you support and who you include in your events. If others are upset about you turning a blind eye, not really blind when I sent you proof, then that's on you and your decisions as a business owner. The event page responded, I understand your point, but I also can't dictate what others do. All I can ask is that they don't use AI in relation to my events. The witch hunts have got to stop. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but the whole thing with witch hunts is that there is no proof. Whereas in this case, the shop explicitly labeled their stuff AI generated. That's not a witch hunt. That's pointing out the evidence. This is my business and reputation. I don't condone the use of AI, but adults have to make their own decisions. Bashing my event because of your own personal beliefs isn't okay and detrimental to our book community. If you notice, a lot of event organizers use AI in their promotions. We don't. Our authors don't either, Because one vendor doesn't mean I'm turning a blind eye. It just means that I can't dictate them. If I remove them, then I'm harming another person in the book world. I guess, but they're choosing to do something you don't agree with and you don't want to support, right? If I was hosting some sort of vegan event, I wouldn't be like, oh, well, they just really wanted to include beef in their dish. And, but they're vegan every other day of the week. So just that one day at my event's totally fine. Like, you're free to do what you want in your daily life. But at my event where there are no animal products, no, I'm not going to let you bring in and sell your beef stew. Like I guess it would be equivalent if it's a restaurant that has only a few vegan dishes and then brings them to the event and not any of the other stuff. Do you think that we need to allow flexibility in terms of that? Like, I full-heartedly support the Impossible Burger at Burger King, but what's happening here? The vendor makes stuff with AI. They're bringing the stuff to the event. If we truly want to support local indie businesses, then we need to focus on supporting and stop the witch hunt. Again, yeah, supporting local businesses is important, but if they're doing a bad job, if they have low quality work, if they don't fulfill their promises, you don't need to support that business. It is okay to go elsewhere, even if they aren't local. If our company and event is slandered online due to your personal beliefs, I will take the necessary steps to have it stopped. We've been doing this for 10 years and believe in the book world. And Ashtyn responded, this is actually bullshit. The book community supports local and indie businesses constantly. I can have multiple authors, content creators, events, bookstores, editors, artists, and readers who are strongly against the use of AI in any form and who agree there's no place for this in our community. If you supported authors, you would educate yourself as to why allowing vendors who use and sell AI art, then you either do not care or did not do your due diligence as an organizer. Once again, I ask where your AI stance was ever stated to authors. Not on the application, not on the Facebook group, not on your website, not on the event listing, none of the emails to the group. And the event page responded, this conversation is over. We are at an impasse. Personal beliefs don't condone slander. You decided to leave the event and I wish you the best of luck. Don't slander my event. It's over. And Ashtyn reiterated, it is not slander if it is true. Ashtyn, erroneously referred to as Kiana Ashtyn here, was then sent an email with this cease and desist. Basically just saying, this correspondence serves as a formal notice demanding that you immediately cease and desist from engaging in any further harassment, cyberbullying, defamatory statements, false allegations, and or intentional interference relating to myself, my business, or associated events, i.e. Threads, LinkedIn, and all other social media platforms. What? But the slandering and intimidation? I mean, I personally did not interpret anything Ashtyn said as intimidation. She just said, look, you're allowing this to happen. Don't be surprised. Like, I don't agree with it. A lot of people don't agree with it. And it goes on to accuse Ashtyn of making false public statements, targeted online harassment, disparaging comments, attempt to damage business relationships, and efforts to disrupt scheduled events. I don't know. Her own post. She wasn't going around taking out full page ads in the newspaper or commenting on people's posts. Don't do this. Don't do that. And be advised that under New Mexico law, knowingly making false statements presented as fact that damage an individual or a business's reputation may constitute defamation. But it's not false. She asked, where's your statement posted? And you never responded. We have screenshot evidence of that. And then it goes on telling her to stop doing the stuff. Okay, Michelle. And so Threads had a lot to say. Paperback Diaries commented on Ashtyn's post, listen, I'm no legal expert, but I don't think they have a leg to stand on considering you're not slandering anyone. All facts with irrefutable screenshots. Pink Boba said, again, it would be a libel at Michelle. And second, what exactly is she thinking is false? You said a vendor is using AI. She confirmed that. And Ashtyn said, when I saw her statement, I thought to myself, is this not just the TLDR version of what I said? And Pink Boba said, honestly, one of my favorite genres of online shenanigans is when one person is like, you're doing defamation against me by saying things that are true. Author Cassandra Deviak said, this cease and desist has me rolling. Michelle should have taken the L and moved along. She uses AI too. She's full of it. So people are thinking that she probably used ChatGPT to write that cease and desist. Cheris writes, commented, from everything I can read here, you approached them with information in a cordial manner. They agreed to remove you when they did not take action to remove the other vendor. You then informed the public of your experience. It's super cut and dry. The things the cease and desist are asking you to stop doing are things I cannot find any evidence to have been done on your part, per my understanding. So that is all ridiculous, and I am so sorry. this is being put on you when the vendor needs to be dropped. Also, our stance on AI was clear. Buddy, it seems like you looked everywhere for a statement. It's often in the event contract, the website, and every social media platform they use. Because if you actually have a policy against it, you make it known, just like events do with conduct. They put it in the contract. It's on the website, and they post it to the socials close to the event because it's part of their policy. Which all of these are great points. Ashtyn was very polite. I mean, I guess there's a little bit of tension in some of those later messages, but when it was clear that Michelle was just talking around her, basically. And it's true. No one was able to find any evidence that there was a policy posted publicly or even shared privately with the authors, considering this author in question didn't receive anything. Bookish Corvid said, LMAO, it's almost word for word what Bindery sent me last year. When they did get a lawyer involved from some legal Zoom website, I simply sent back all proof and screenshots in printed form and mailed it back to the lawyers, and I never heard a word again. Right? An LJ9 author says what I've been saying. They can't control that people use AI, but they don't have to accept vendors or creators who use it. They have control of their event they're putting together. She's making lame excuses for her own complacency. Cassandra here had made another comment saying, welcome to the club. I had to dispute my deposit with them through PayPal, and the lead author putting on the event threw a massive hissy fit about it. Ultimately, not disclosing their stance on AI and attempting to conceal it is tantamount to fraud in my book. And Ashtyn says she did pay through PayPal also, so potentially she'll be trying to dispute that. And you might be thinking, why did this have to come out into the open? She should have just kept it to herself, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes I definitely feel that's the case, seeing bookish drama. It's like that. It was a group chat conversation. Nobody else needed in. But we have this comment here by Angel Blake, who says, hey, as someone who runs a vendor market at a small local shop in Missouri, thank you. I have never thought about this and will be adding verbiage to our vendor agreement that makes our stance clear on AI. This is something we actively advocate against in our community. But wow, I never even thought to mention it to our vendors. Thankfully, none of them have used any AI that we've seen. And Ashtyn responded, I definitely would start to add it to all positions, authors, vendors, artists, even volunteers and influencers, if you do that. And I will certainly be more vigilant when signing up for events going forward. So again, a good example of why, usually it's a good idea for you to come forward when you're in situations like this. It can serve as a cautionary tale. Other authors, other artists, etc., that when they agree to join an event, they need to make sure that there's nothing they disagree with going on. And it's also a sign to, smaller or new event organizers who, might not have run into this situation before, or it didn't even cross their mind. And now they know, oh, I, have this stance that I want to defend. I need to make sure I am defending it in my event organizing. It is unfortunate that, they finally got a cool event in New Mexico, so it seems, or something that could potentially be very cool in the future. And then this happened to poor Ashtyn Kiana. I feel for her. It must be very disappointing. Hopefully, though, she's not out too much money having to withdraw from this event. And I hope that Michelle takes it into consideration in the future, even though it seems like she's really digging her heels in. This time, potentially in the future, she'll be able to put her strength into the anti-GenAI stance she claims to have via those emails. Well, if you've gotten to the end of the video, leave a cactus emoji in the comments below. But there is this really good vegan chicken restaurant in Albuquerque called Nobody Calls Me Chicken. It was very delicious. I was so surprised because, I'll be honest, I was kind of disappointed elsewhere. And of course, where I lived, there were no options. Taco Bell and Burger King. But yeah. So if you ever find yourself in Albuquerque, stopping by there. What I don't recommend is getting LASIK, because as you can see, I am still blind. Well, that is all for now. I will see you next time.